Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. I really don't want to make this video. I can't believe I'm about to do this. Today's video will talk about new slivers and give you some starting points when trying to build the worst standard deck known to man. Here's your sliver spotlight for M15. Just kill me now. This morning, buried in the card image gallery of M15, we were introduced to the rest of the uncommon sliver cycle that accompanies our good friend Leeching Sliver. Constricting Sliver is 5 colorless and 1 white for a 3/3. Sliver creatures you control have, when this creature enters the battlefield, you may exile target creature an opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield. Great! Perfect way to start. Let's make all slivers Banisher Priests. That guy isn't annoying at all. Sure, he's 6 mana, but you're going to need something to play turn 4 when your mana weft sliver has accelerated out the rest of your hand. It's called the Dream, guys, or the Nightmare. Why am I making this video? Diffusion Sliver is 1 colorless and 1 blue for a 1/1 that makes all slivers itty bitty Frost Titans. Countering spells automatically unless an opponent has 2 extra mana is insane. Not only is it inherently annoying, but it throws your opponent's tempo out the window. Their curve just caught on fire. Man, they're going to need a lot of mana to exile Sliver Hivelord now. Like, I love blue, I really do, but this is just dirty. It's 2 mana. 2 mana for an insanely powerful ability. If you play this on turn 2, Doomblade is pretty much shut off until turn 4 unless they have an accelerator. Even then, how outrageously annoying is that? Playing Doomblade as a 4 mana spell? Ugh. Belligerent Sliver is 2 colorless and 1 red for a 2/2 that makes it so that all your slivers can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Whoop-de-doo! You thought your Courser of Crufix was enough to stem the attack? No. 3 mana is actually less than I expected this to be for the immediate impact of the ability. In a fair amount of matches, this is basically like granting unblockable in the early game. Plus, if you can get your slivers pumped up, you're forcing your opponents to make bad trades. If you're curving out the way you should, good blocks aren't usually a thing against slivers. The last sliver in the uncommon cycle is Venom Sliver, 1 colorless and 1 green for a 1/1 that gives all slivers you control Death Touch. Hey, you couldn't give them trample or reach, you had to go with Death Touch, arguably the least green ability you have available to you? This card changes a lot. It makes Belligerent Sliver a heck of a lot better. It also makes all the blocks unfavorable for your opponent because Sliver Rabies isn't something you want on your Hydra or Centaur or Plant Lady. You get the point. Venom Sliver is dumb. Since you're playing slivers, you're obviously running Sliver Hivelord and the Sliver Hive itself. Even with Shocklands and Painlands, running 5 colors is a bit tough. It also hurts a lot. If you want to make slivers viable, the plan is probably to run green for Chord of Calling, then pick a couple supporting colors that accomplish what you want to accomplish. In other words, getting punched in the face by your opponent. Anyways, let's take a look at what white slivers we have available. Bone Scythe Sliver is the first one that comes to mind. Granting Double Strike is a powerful ability, and at 4 mana it isn't all that expensive. Making your sliver superior in combat is definitely a priority. Steelform Sliver is a little weak. 3 mana for a 2/2 that only gives slivers +0/+1 does have its uses, but it probably won't make the cut. This deck has to be tight to work correctly. Sentinel Sliver is another interesting choice. Vigilance is great to both attack and block with, plus it helps with Chord of Calling. You can attack, then tap to use the Convoke mechanic. The synergy is there. White is a decent choice. Bone Scythe is a sure thing, and Sentinel isn't bad. Plus, you have cool utility cards like Ajani's Presence, Voice of Resurgence, and Chain to the Rocks if you're also playing red. When looking at blue as a support color, you only have 1 sliver, but it's arguably one of the best. Gale Rider Sliver is outrageously powerful. First, it's only 1 blue mana. That's important for curve purposes. Second, it grants flying. Flying is one of the best abilities to have in Magic, especially in the type of meta we're in right now where most of the threats are either Hydras, Centaurs, or Soldier tokens. You get the occasional giant dragon, but that isn't enough to dissuade me from playing Gale Rider. In addition to this sweet sliver, you gain access to Cyclonic Rift, Rapid Hybridization, Dispel, and a bunch of other cheap disruption. As aggressive as Sliver decks are, you're going to need some way to protect yourself just in case. We talked about leeching Sliver in yesterday's video. Nothing has changed, I still hate it, which means it's pretty decent. Like blue, if you decide to splash black, you only gain access to one Sliver from M15 Siphon Sliver. 3 mana for a 2/2 that gives all your Slivers a lifelink. The mana cost is fair. It's a 2/2, which is okay by Sliver standards. It'll also help against other aggressive strategies. This is particularly important because mono red, red-white burn, mono black aggro, and various human decks are becoming more and more popular. You can also expect to see a resurgence in green-white aggressive strategies as well. Lifelink is a powerful asset to have. Beyond that, you get all that black has to offer, from Devour Flesh to Hero's Downfall, and from Thoughtseize to Duress. You have to make a really good argument not to run black just for the sheer amount of removal and versatility it provides. Red makes a strong case as a support color. Belligerent Sliver is annoying, but pretty strong, especially early game. Red also gives you more variety than some of the other colors as far as M15 Slivers are concerned. You have Battle Sliver, which is a 3/3 and does give +2/+0, but is also 5 mana. Blur Sliver is something I like. 3 mana for a 2/2 that grants haste. Your deck wants to be fast. Here you go. Even when you don't want to attack, haste lets you tap for mana with Mana Weft Sliver. That's value. My favorite M14 Sliver is Striking Sliver. 1 red mana is all it takes to give everything first strike. This is so cheap for the combat advantage it grants you. Striking Sliver is almost enough by itself to make red a viable support color. There is also Thorncaster Sliver, which could be cheeky against aggressive strategies, but only as a sideboard card since I think I'd want Leeching Sliver more often. Let's talk about green. This won't take long since you have to run green to make Slivers playable. There are a few reasons why. First, you need Mana Weft Sliver to accelerate and color fix. Second, Sliver Hivelord's mana cost is a bother. Chord of Calling lets you get around that. You want to run Chord of Calling. Even if you don't get the Hivelord, it lets you grab whatever Sliver you do need. It's perfect for the strategy. Third, Predatory Sliver is just good. It's 2 mana and gives +1/+1. It makes your first strike relevant, it makes your lifelink relevant, it provides intense board pressure. It's just a good decision. In summary, if you want to play Slivers, here's what I suggest. Start with a green shell. The inclusions are pretty obvious. For support colors, it's hard for me to make a case for white, not because it's particularly bad, but because I'm drawn to what the other colors offer. Blue offers insane disruption, black gives you all the removal, and red, along with the insane 1-drop first striker, equips you with burn galore. This is where you have to decide which direction to take. If it were me, I'd probably splash blue and black and make a Sliver, mid-range, tempo, Hivelord swag deck. Listen, the point is that you should pick the support colors that best suit your style of play. Just don't try to run all the colors. If you want the deck to be viable, but still hilariously annoying / fun, focus on a few colors rather than all of them. Well, that does it for our Sliver Spotlight video. I hope you hated it, and I also hope that it didn't help you at all. Sorry, I get a little carried away sometimes. What kind of weird, evil Sliver shenanigans are you guys gonna try to pull off? Remember to tune in next week for our Best of the Rest series covering the rest of M15. Until then, keep the M15 hype alive, guys. Remember to subscribe below for the latest and most reliable M15 spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time. Wow.